So let's start with this. First of all, what is your name? Pronounce your name for me.
My name is Bhakti Charu Swami. And if you want to know what do I do, who I am, all I can say is that I'm a believer of God, I'm a lover of God, and I want to rather try to spread His glory.
So what is the difference between somebody like you who is a believer in God and somebody like me who is a believer in God? Are we the same believer in God?
Naturally.
Yeah.
You see, God is one. When you use the word supreme, the supreme creator, the supreme maintainer, the supreme personality, then the supreme means one who is without a second, who has no one equal to Him or superior to Him. So this is how He is absolutely singular. So, in different languages, He may be identified by different names, but, those who believe in God as the supreme, then, they all are following or believing in the same person.
So is there a religion attached to your belief in God?
Yes. Religion, for that matter, religion is the means to understand God. Religion is the means to understand our identity being spiritual. And religion is the means to understand another reality that exists beyond this world.
You're talking about an afterlife, of course. When we pass away, what happens to us?
I wouldn't say afterlife, just afterlife. I would say eternal life. That reality is eternal. This world is transient. But that is, everlasting. It's eternal. Like the soul is eternal. Soul is immortal.
So you're saying the difference between what our consciousness is now and when we no longer are in our own bodies. You are telling me that there is a place outside of who we are as a human being.
Well, it's even beyond that. Like you see, these identities, is identification of the body, human, animal, reptile. Like these all are the bodies, but they're living bodies. The bodies are made of matter, and matter is inert, but these matters are living. These matters are conscious. And what makes them conscious is the soul.
So are you saying that the soul in a plant or in an animal is equal to the soul of a human?
Yes.
Or so it is. It's the same soul. It's just the body in which the
body
soul
is different. Yeah.
The soul is able to communicate. The soul is able to present itself. So what happens when the soul leaves its container?
Yeah, the body. See, body is made of matter. Matter by nature is inert. All matter is inert. So this body is made of matter is actually inert bodies, dead bodies. But these dead bodies are alive because of the presence of the soul. So when the soul leaves the body, the dead body becomes dead again.
Now, can a different soul enter that body?
You see, by nature's arrangement, the different types of bodies are generated in different ways. Like, for example, a human body is generated out of embryo.
Right.
Animal bodies generate or develop out of embryo. Then there are bodies that are developed from eggs, like, for example, reptiles, birds, insects. Then some bodies are generated out of seeds, like trees and plants. And also the microbes, these bodies generate just from the body itself. Like an amoeba, from one body, another body develops. So these are the 4 types of procreation, you can say. From the body itself, like the sweat comes out of the body, Like another body is generated from one body. Then bodies out of seeds, like trees and plants. Bodies out of eggs, and the bodies out of embryos.
So then, and this is an incredibly touchy question, and I'm going to think of how. Can I ask you anything?
Sure, anything.
You're open.
I'm open,
Because
absolutely.
you're a man of spirit. You're a man of just happiness, positivity.
Yes, sure.
Okay. All right. So here we go. In the news right now, there's a lot of states that are passing bills about abortion. Okay. And so what you just told me was when a body is formed, the embryo, all right, the soul at some point is going to take over that body. Is there, you're shaking your head no.
Not only at some point, when the sperm of the father enters into the womb of the mother, impregnates the ovum, that is the time the soul enters. So the sperm of the father.
So then would you argue that the moment that happens, we have life, and if we take that life away, we're taking away life. So, and again, we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but when it comes to something like abortion, do you believe that we are allowed to take away that life? Or are you saying the moment pregnancy is pregnancy and that is it?
Yes. Like, if you go deep into it, then you'll realize that the womb in the mother, the child is developing the body, is an entity, a living entity. He may be in a rather underdeveloped or inert state, but there is a living person. And he is developing the body gradually from the time the sperm of the father impregnated the ovum of the mother.
Yeah.
And it is developing gradually. And then after a certain period of time, when the body becomes fully mature, it comes out. Now, until then, from the time of inception, it's a living entity. And it's not right to kill that.
So is there ever a time that it would be right to kill any living thing? In other words, even if, there's an adult male who, is being charged with murder and he gets the death penalty, he's given the death penalty based on other bodies and souls in the body giving that person, taking away the life from that person. So adults, babies, is there ever a time to take away a life?
Yeah, well, that's a very, very good point that you made. Like just as when, according to the law, someone's life is taken, it's justified. Like a murderer gets a death sentence, he's killed. He is kind of sentenced to death. He gets a death sentence. Well, the state has the right to do that. But I don't know what to say about the child in the womb. Who is just developing. Yeah,
the child didn't commit murder. The child didn't do anything to try to harm.
But no, then we can go back actually.
What do you mean by go back?
Go back it's not, the moment he entered into his mother's womb, that's the beginning of his life, beginning of his existence. He existed before that. The soul existed before. And it is transmigrating from one body to another.
So then,
and the thing is, you can say that by some higher judgment, it can be decided that this individual will not be able to complete his body, and his life will be terminated when he is mother's womb. So, but the thing is, these are very complex considerations. And the direct thing should be that, it is not proper for a mother to kill her own child in her womb. I will say that, I feel terribly bad about that when I hear that, abortion is becoming a law, or, anybody has the right to kill the baby in the womb. Anyway, so, again, I will say that individual has his own freedom to decide what he wants to do, or she wants to do. But I'll leave it at that. But, like when it comes to understanding it as a science,
Yeah.
when you want to scientifically understand it, then my point will be that it is not that only at certain point a soul enters into the body, and prior to that, he was not a living entity. It was just something, inert matter in the womb of the mother and so forth. My answer to that will be no. Not that the child gets the life when it's 7 months in the womb of the mother. The child gets the life, or the soul, living entity gets his life when or rather gets the body when it enters into the mother's womb through the father's sperm.
I completely understand that. Yeah. And it almost seems as if, if the soul is something that exists before the body it inhabits, then taking away that body doesn't affect the soul that existed before or after, which is why I think you went into the fact that if it's the rule that we have provided, you can do what you want if that's the rule, if it's not going against the law. So let's shift a little bit, because we now are. I'm discovering that your thoughts are that we are, and I believe in this as well, that we are a soul that inhabits a body, and at some point that soul is going to leave the body, still be existing, correct?
Yeah, it'll continue to exist.
And my question is then, what is the purpose of taking over the body? It's another way of asking what's the meaning of life? What is the meaning of interaction right here?
Yes. Very nice question. You see, here we have to understand that the soul in this material world, soul actually comes from another reality, the spiritual world. From there, the soul, we all have come here into the material nature. In this material nature, we have developed two types of bodies. One body is the gross body, made of this. This is a gross body made of earth or solid, liquid, fire, air, and ether.
Our skin, our...
Right. This body made of, flesh and blood and bone.
Is gross a term you use? Why do you call it gross?
Because these are the 5 gross elements.
I thought you meant like we're gross as humans. Because sometimes, you go to the gym, I stink, I'm gross.
No, what I meant is it's made of 5 gross elements.
Got it.
But beyond that, there are 3 subtle elements. They're also matter, but subtle matter, like mind, intelligence, and false ego. So these are 3 subtle elements. With these 3 subtle elements, we have a subtle body. Well, the proof you can say is, now that we are awake, this body is awake, we are functioning. Both the gross body and the subtle body, both are active. When we fall asleep, the gross body follows. We are unaware of the gross body. It's inert, or it is unconscious. It's asleep. But we dream.
So the mind, you said it's the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego are always existent.
They're existing, but for example, in a dream, when we are dreaming, do we have an identity?
Yeah.
Am I there in the dream?
Yeah.
But this body is not there.
No.
So that is the subtle body.
Okay.
And beyond the subtle body is the soul. And as we act, our actions leave their imprints in the subtle body. Okay, you can say, to simplify it, we can say mind. Like, let's consider the subtle body as the mind. Mm-hmm. Like, when we do something good, internally, in the mind, we feel elated. When we do something bad, although no one even saw us doing that, we feel heavy internally. So this is how our actions actually leave their imprints in the subtle body. And accordingly, the subtle body takes its shape. Like, for example, sometimes we say that man is like an angel because his activities are like that of an angel's. And as a result of that, his subtle body actually takes the shape of an angel. And on the other hand, sometimes we say, that man is like an animal. because his activities are like that of an animal. And those activities actually give his subtle body the shape of that of an animal. And then after one leaves the present body, by nature's arrangement, according to the shape of the subtle body, he is placed into an appropriate womb. The person whose subtle body has taken the shape of an angel's, he would be placed in an angelic womb, and he'll get an angelic body, and so forth.
And the other side of it.
So he can be placed in animal.
So is it a metaphor for heaven and hell, or what a lot of people look at as heaven and hell?
You can say that, like our good actions elevate us and lead us to happiness and prosperity, and wrong actions actually lead us to suffering.
It sounds like another term again for karma as well.
Yeah, sure.
Which, if you're a true believer of people ask me what my religion is, and I was born a religion, and I sense being part of that religion, which is the Jewish people, the Jewish religion. But I truly believe beyond that there is an energy of the earth. People call it karma or whatnot, but that your actions produce an energy that is intercepted by others. And when you talk about the dreams, I mean, it really hits with me because ever since I can remember, I had dreams that were just slightly different from other people. And I discovered that when I had people stay with me when I was out in Los Angeles. I had people live with me for a little bit, and they start talking about how they've never dreamed before, and they've started dreaming. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, that became a pattern. I had my brother come visit, my parents come visit. I got a girlfriend, now my wife. All these people said they never dreamed like they did until they were in the room I was in. They were sleeping on the bed, across the way, on the couch, my wife next to me. My daughter now I have a daughter, when she sleeps in between us, she wakes up sometimes happy, sometimes sad. I don't know what this is. I've been trying to figure this out for years. And I'll tell you, the other night, I was woken up from a light from outside. It's an automatic light when somebody passes it. It was 4 a.m. The light shined through my window. It had never done that before, hit me right in the face, completely woke me up. Startled me. I thought somebody was outside. I turned on the alarm, all of that. Ended up being nothing. No alarm went off. Nobody was outside. I go to sleep, and when I slept, I had a dream that I was in the room I was in, only the lights were going crazy. And I woke up to a loud ringing, a silent ringing, like a frequency that was in my head. And I was convinced that this meant something. I just have no idea what any of this means. I'm not asking you for the answers here, but if you have any sort of insight to this, it would give myself some clarity of what happens when we sleep. It's a big question here.
Yeah. Right. The thing is, dreams can be 2 types. One type can be, it's a projection of your mental, recollections. For example, you saw gold, you saw mountain, and you say golden mountain.
Yeah.
It's a kind of, mental projection. That's one thing. But another thing is that subtle plane also is existing. There is another plane called subtle plane. And there sometimes you communicate with some individuals there on that plane, or you get transported to that plane. So that also can be experienced as a dream,
And that plane, is that plane a timeline where sometimes you're seeing things?
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Just as this world is real when I'm awake, similarly, that world is there, and, it can be transported in that world. So
as somebody who is a logical person, I'm very skeptical as a whole, I can sit here and say, I believe everything you say. Right? I could also sit here and say, I believe nothing you say, because anything you say can't be a tangible thing you show me. This light right here I'm pointing to is red,
right,
or orange. We both see this. We both can say that is a red light. This other stuff we're talking about, dreams, spirituality, souls, I can't see it. So how do you know for certain all of these concepts are the truth?
Yeah. Like, say, for example, did you go to Malaysia?
No, I didn't. I've
You
never
did
been
not.
to Malaysia.
But do you know that a place like Malaysia exists?
I do only because of the movie Zoolander.
Okay,
that was
or
it.
you know,
Yeah.
like people, those who know about that place have presented, say, in the book of geography, right? So not that everything we have to experience ourselves with our direct perception. Like there is a way of getting informations through reliable source, authentic source. They come and tell you, and that's how you get the knowledge. Like, you see, this is how all knowledge is actually received from some higher source. Like, did you learn the alphabets yourself?
No.
No,
I
you
was
had
taught it.
somebody had to,
Sure.
and you had to accept it.
Yeah,
as
they
it
could have
is.
taught me wrong. I
They
could have
could-
been screwed up the rest of my life
Right.
because they
But
taught
it
me
didn't,
along.
It didn't happen because you accepted A is A and B is B.
Mm-hmm.
And when you grew up and started to read books, it was verified that A is A and B is B.
Correct.
So similarly, that is how you justify or verify what is real and what is unreal.
Now, it's a scary concept because if I think, therefore I am, which is a saying, I think, therefore I am. You
Yes.
told me Malaysia is a place,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting here going, I've never been there, so maybe it's not a place. We've been on the moon. I didn't go on the moon, so did we go on the moon? So it's a lot of trust that we have to accept.
Right.
So somebody like you who is knowledgeable in all of this stuff, where did you get your information from? Did it come to you? Is it something you read?
Yes. You see, the source of knowledge are books and teachers. Like the books are there that has the knowledge in them, but just by reading the books, you may not possibly get the proper understanding. So you need a teacher. So I'll say I have been fortunate to have a teacher who could reveal these informations that are in those books called the scriptures or Vedas. The word Vedas means knowledge. It's coming from the root word vid, means to know, and Veda means knowledge. So there are books of knowledge, and I can even go to the extent of saying there are books and scriptures. The difference between, say, novels or fictions and scriptures is that the contents of the scriptures, knowledge of the scriptures, come from the other reality, spiritual reality.
So human beings didn't write those.
No.
They just appeared.
They may have
were
transmitted
here.
that, like the prophets, the messiahs, the Son of God,
Yeah.
may transmit that knowledge, but actually that's the knowledge of that reality.
But it comes from our belief of what we are presented with. We have to
Yes.
jump into the mindset that we believe that these scriptures were given to us. Because if we go the other direction and say it was written by man, well, then it completely has our house of cards just fall to the ground.
Right.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And as you mentioned about believing, you see, the thing is that when you are trying to learn something, you have to believe, provided the source is authentic, the source is genuine. Like, for example, when you went to school, your teachers told you things and you accepted because, you had the full conviction that here is my teacher and what he is saying is right, is real, is truth. And similarly, any knowledge that you want to accept or receive has to be accepted with a certain amount of belief.
Yeah.
Like, could you question your mother when she said A is A and B is B?
I wasn't old enough.
Right.
I question her now. I don't know if A was A, Mom. I'll tell you this. My boss said to me, "You got to trust your gut." All right, and I've always trusted my gut. It's just this. It goes beyond being able to read something. And everything you're describing to me and explaining to me is connecting, but isn't connecting solid. It's connecting, but it's loose. And correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm going to throw something out that I think is where I think this idea connects with myself, which is my wife. I love my wife. You can't read that anywhere. If I wrote that on a piece of paper, you would read that I love my wife, but you wouldn't know for certain. You have to trust me. How do I know? I just wrote it down. Because I just know. Because the mind, the spirit, the body, the gut, the heart, the fact that I have tears in my eyes right now just thinking about her, I'm in love with my wife. That is fact. There's no question about that. 100 years from now, people are going to look back when we have left our bodies. They're going to know our story, and they won't know for certain if I loved my wife unless they believed it. So that feeling that I have is not a tangible thing that people can see. It may be action somebody sees, but you still don't know. You don't know what goes on inside somebody's body. And everything you're talking about the mind and spirit, is a base of this concept. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, sure. Like, you see, your consciousness is your consciousness.
Yeah.
Right? Your emotions are your emotions. And, like whether others believe in it or not, it doesn't really matter to you. Like whether the whole world believes whether you love your wife or not, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
as
matter.
long as you love
I don't
her.
care.
Right.
Because
exactly.
I know.
Yeah, that's it.
This has been mind-blowing. I knew that when you were coming in, the little research I had done, I got an understanding that you are a human being or a spirit within within a body that is just you encompass what I believe life should be, which is just we live our life, we live our consciousness to be good people, to interact with other containers, bodies, and when it's our time to go, it's our time to go, whatever that is. And I thank you for coming in. I thank you for chatting with me.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, and spreading this word of just positivity I think is great.